Hello, my name is Flipping Marks and welcome to Kayfabe News' Raw Review with me, Flipping Marks. We just said that? Who writes this? What do you mean, me? You're fired. Anyway, it was a joyous WWE Monday Night show this week as those in control decided to deliver a nice treat for older fans by rerunning an episode from 2007. Featuring Shawn Michaels, The Big Show, Christian and Ric Flair, we saw the Heartbreak Kid return and super kick Randy Orton right in the face. The Nature Boy told us that he was never going to retire, whereas Christian and Show made a wonderful return to the company, despite the former being in TNA and the latter being on the outs with WWE. Wait, are we sure this was from 2007? That doesn't sound right at all. Admittedly, it was strange that an episode of Raw from 2020 started with these four guys, but are we absolutely sure that WWE ran an old show? No! For Pete's sake. Sorry friends, after some actual watching and using our eyes, unlike Rey Mysterio who just uses eye, it turns out this was a new episode of Monday Night Raw, just with an over-reliance on these four Hall of Famers, or two Hall of Famers. Christian and Big Show have not been inducted at this stage. Honestly, can we just get some better scripts, please? Even I know about all of this, and I'm not even a nerd. Anyway, they were here, and after they had assaulted Randy Orton at Clash of Champions the previous evening, and they were pretty proud of themselves to be honest, it turned out that Drew McIntyre, the WWE champion, knew nothing about this pre-planned attack, which makes it worse. So they had no regard for the WWE title or the person that holds it, and just hoped this would be okay. I mean, who does that? I don't want someone to come around to my house and fix my bathroom if there's no leak, and I don't want four guys just deciding to intervene in my title match unless I ask. The sheer arrogance of it. Let Drew have his time, you fools. It makes my blood boil, and that is not a healthy thing to happen. Unfortunately, somebody who very much felt the same way about this was Randy Orton. And my word, if we get an update of Michael, Show, Christian and Flair, we shall update you in due course. But after disguising himself as a janitor, which was odd, given that nobody had banned the Viper from the arena, so he was free to enter and leave as he saw fit. Anyway, Orton sneaked into the dressing room where these legends were playing cards, turned the lights off, and beat their ass using a chair and night goggles so he could see what he was doing. The pain was so much, Shawn Michaels' and his friends' voice boxes just ceased to work as they made no noise, and before anybody knew what was happening, Randy had left like a thief in the night. And you would think this would result in a lawsuit, given everything over on SmackDown with Otis being sued for something similar, but the judicial system in WWE is like playing a game of Guess Who. It doesn't make sense. But yes, as I've already said, as and when we know more on these three, or these four I should say, we shall let you know, but my guess is that they will not be in a good way for some time. On that note, Shawn Michaels is advertised for this week's NXT. In other news where the WWE title is concerned, we did have a mysterious challenger for Drew's champion this evening, and it was the long absence Bobby Roode. It would have been great if somebody had told me where he had been for the last 6 months, but clearly, whatever it was, a barber wasn't present, because his hair and beard were as wild as my sex life. The Canadian did a great job despite not being in a ring for so long, but alas, he too fell foul to the Claymore kick, and you have to figure out that now it's time for him to go back to the bottom of the ladder. I mean, as he was reintroduced by Dolph Ziggler, maybe he'll go back to being in a tag team with him? Because let's face it, Raw needs tag teams, and I'm not talking about poor referee decisions and WWE. Speaking of new tag teams as well, Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke have decided their next goal is indeed the Women's Tag Team Championships. They had a fine debut here, doing away with Lana and Natalya like an obese man at an all-you-can-eat buffet. And I'm intrigued by this new duo. I mean, they clearly have respect for one another, and Mandy Rose absolutely has something to prove because she's just moved from SmackDown to Raw. If I was Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax, I would be somewhat worried, I'd suppose. Maybe not. The Mysterio family drama also continued to rear its head, and at this stage we really do just have to admit that Rey has screwed up in 2020. I mean, what the hell is he doing? Dragging his family to Raw each week has ruined them as a unit, and now it seems like Aliyah, her daughter, has feelings for Buddy Murphy, a disciple and a member of a horrendous cult, and someone who helped rip out her own father's eye. Does that sound like somebody you want in your Christmas picture? No, it does not. And yet here, a series of text messages were revealed by Seth Rollins proving that there is a blossoming relationship which not only horrified Mama and Papa, but is clearly driving a wedge between parents and daughter. She wants to marry Murphy and have his children, and Ray and Angie, they disagree. This situation has never ended well. And we saw more of this too when Dominic Mysterio did indeed take on Murphy. Aaliyah sided with her new potential lover over her brother, proving that the ability to have a relationship is more important than family. Hey, look, I get it. It's been a tough year, and we all need somebody in our bed, especially as you know, siblings, they'll always come around, they ain't going nowhere. Dominic doesn't really care about this, he's just mad that Murphy is more jacked than he is. Sadly, this did end with Aaliyah slapping Dominic, and Ray, again, this is all on you. You brought your family into an unsafe working environment. You should be ashamed, and if not, don't worry, because I'm ashamed of you. I would also like to ask WWE what they intend to do with the ninja known as Tozawa. As we now know, he faked his death last week and pretended to be eaten by a shark simply to trick R-Truth with a very heartfelt but fake note and win back the 24/7 championship. I mean, it was back with Truth before the night was over, but this is not the sort of behavior I would expect from my employees, and they shouldn't be engaging in this without some serious consequences. I mean, on the same damn show, Aleister Black got admonished and disqualified when he accidentally clocked a referee, so Tozawa should be dragged through the mud for this dastardly act of cowardism. No, it's not cowardice, it's cowardism. Everybody knows that. Also, didn't I fire you? Exactly. We also saw Asuka defeat Zelina Vega again, so sure that's the end for her title intentions. The Hurt Business lost to Ricochet, Apollo Crews, and Mustafa Ali, who was also back on Raw, and I don't know where he's been either. Keith Lee defeated Andrade, and we learned that Bianca Belair is such a good athlete, her rivals would rather quit than face her in a race. And I mean, what a specimen. She was managing the Street Profits but of a few weeks ago, and in that time has transformed into this. And I can only assume she is going to leave the world of wrestling to take a crack at the Olympic Games, and I say, good for her. A quick message before we do end too for Roman Reigns. I just want to let you know that you are my tribal chief, and I have no problem saying it. And if you ever want me to whisper sweet nothings in your ear, or I just go, you're my tribal chief, I would absolutely be happy to do it, although I assume that Paul Heyman has got that covered for now. But in case he's ill or he wants to take a holiday, I, Flippin' Marks, am available at a very, very cheap price. And that was it for Raw this week. Sorry for the confusion earlier on. I really just thought we'd gone back to 2007. I mean, I did think it was a little bit odd, but that kind of sums up Raw at the moment, I feel. Please do like the video, share it, and subscribe to ensure you do something good with your life. And if you must, leave a comment below. And for those who ask if I read them, absolutely not. Thanks for tuning in, and we shall see you soon. Not literally, because as always, I wouldn't be able to hack it.